Hi everybody, I'm Nico Hargreaves-Heald. I'm a recent graduate of UMass Lowell. I actually just got my MBA in January, immediately following the India trip. The Indian trip was my last class, or activity, I suppose you could say. And it was a truly, truly extraordinary experience. It was really amazing. I've never been anywhere like that before, and just to have that opportunity was incredible. So I have to thank you so much for the scholarship, which was what allowed me to go. I would not have been able to go otherwise, and I know that a number of the other students there also would not have been able to go had it not been for the scholarship. And it really was, I can't stress enough how amazing of an experience it was, and affecting. It was really incredible. But in the interest of time, Professor Mehta has asked me to share a couple of my experiences or insights, and I thought I would sort of gear them towards the theme of the trip, which was entrepreneurship and innovation. So obviously there was an academic component, an excellent academic component to this, expertly taught by the best professors around, certainly. But then there was also a learning experience of just being there, and the culture and the people. And I think that I'm going to try and focus on that and what I learned from the Indian people and from their culture and their way of life. And I think a lot of the things that I recognize are very valuable entrepreneurial skills to have. For example, India is an inherently chaotic place. There's disorder, there's not a lot of traffic laws, there's people everywhere. To say it's bustling is a vast understatement. It is just constantly busy, and it's a sea of people. And that's kind of overwhelming for an American going to such a place. There's not really anywhere that's similar to it in the United States. Maybe New York, I suppose, but it's just not the same. Even in New York, it's more ordered, it's more structured. The people are headed in uniform directions, whereas in India, it's just a mass of movement. And that's very overwhelming for an American. But the Indians navigated this expertly and were very familiar with it and seemed very comfortable in it, which makes sense because that's their environment, that's what they live in. But I thought this was a very interesting and valuable entrepreneurial skill to have, because the business environment is an inherently chaotic and busy and bustling place, and to be able to understand chaos and to navigate chaos and at the same time keep your eye on the prize and on your goals and how to attain those goals, I think is a very valuable entrepreneurial skill. The other thing that I noticed about the Indian people is that they're very bold risk takers, and this is probably most noticeable in their traffic laws, or really their lack of traffic laws. I think I waited at 2 red lights my entire time there. They don't have traffic lanes. They don't signal. They just beep at each other. It's really whatever you can survive is what you can do, which is a wonderful way to drive around a foreign country. But there was actually one night where myself and a number of the other students were going out to a movie, which was another amazing experience. But I rode on the back of a motorcycle, which is how a number of, most of the people in India travel around. And it was, reckless and dangerous and fun. But the student whose motorcycle I rode on was named Tejas, and Tejas had this very fancy bike called a Royal Enfield, and it was very fast. And Tejas was a very bold risk taker with our lives that night, but also a very calculated risk taker. He was calculated in his recklessness, certainly. But I thought that while it was terrifying and exhilarating, it also represented a certain willingness to take risk that I think is a very valuable entrepreneurial skill. To recognize opportunity and to be comfortable taking the risk to try and seize that opportunity is something that entrepreneurs can really benefit from. So anyway, those are a couple of my experiences and insights. And again, thank you so much for the scholarship and for the opportunity. It was really amazing. And I also want to thank really quickly Ashwin Mehta and Deb Finch. The experience was so enjoyable, largely because of their good leadership and their good teaching and their good friendship. So it was a really wonderful experience. Thanks.